In a world that forgot the genius of Brahmagupta, who gave the power to zero, or Madhava, who laid the foundation of calculus, one name from 20th century India shines through the mist of time. Ancient Indian viewed mathematics not as a pursuit for personal glory, but to serve a higher divine order. Mathematics was never seen as an isolated subject. It was woven into the fabric of nature. It was woven into the night sky, astronomy, spirituality, and philosophy. Now, this was different from the Greek mathematics, which laid emphasis on step by step formal process. Indian mathematics thrived on insight, and it was a world of intuition and patterns. For centuries in India, mathematics was not a cold, sterile science, but a spiritual quest. Perhaps only in a land like this could a man genuinely say, an equation has no meaning to me unless it expresses a thought of God. But for a long time, the flame had dimmed under colonial rule and continuous invasions. This is the story of a boy who would reignite it. A boy who would fail his exam, run away from his home, and write in a notebook which no one understood. A boy with no formal training and barely enough money to buy paper would change mathematics forever. This is the story of Ramanujan. The early life of Ramanujan was spent in a world which was much like the one described by R.K. Narayan in his book The Malgudi Days, a South Indian town steeped in tradition under the shadow of the British Raj. While most of India was under invasion, South India was untouched by miles, mountains, and rivers. His early life was spent in Kumbakonam, which was once the capital of the Chola Empire. Now, this city was on the banks of river Kaveri. During Ramanujan's time, this was a place where Mahamagam festival used to take place, the Kumbh Mela of the south, which used to draw thousands of pilgrims to this temple town. Now, this town had beautiful temples with huge gopurams, with the carvings of the stories of Mahabharata and Ramayana. Unlike the West, where the churches are built to draw you higher, the temples are designed to draw you inward. This was the world that shaped Srinivasa Ramanujan. One of Ramanujan's more mystical ideas revolved around 2 raised to n minus 1. A friend recalled him explaining its meaning in almost spiritual terms. When n is 0, the expression equals 0, signifying nothingness. When n is 1, it equals 1, representing infinite God. When n is 2, it equals 3, symbolizing the Holy Trinity, Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. When n is 3, it becomes 7, the sacred Saptarishi of Hindu tradition. Ramanujan was born on 22nd December 1887 in Erode, Tamil Nadu, in a Tamil Brahmin Iyengar family. The meaning of his name is Rama's Anuj, Rama's younger brother. Now, at that time in those periods, child fertility was very high. His mother lost quite some kids after his birth. In fact, Ramanujan miraculously survived smallpox. The family kept shifting places between Kumbakonam, Kanchipuram, and Madras. And somehow his formal education got disrupted. Ramanujan's mother was Komala Tammal, a deeply religious woman who was a major devotee of goddess Namagiri, the family deity, who was a consort of Lord Vishnu. Now, she had a deep influence on Ramanujan in his early life. He absorbed scriptures, stories, and in fact all culture tradition from her. As per his mother, Ramanujan was a sensitive and a strong-willed child. Ramanujan's family lived in Sarangapani Street, which is a street named after the huge temple for Lord Vishnu. Now, he used to spend most of his time in the temple in the cool stone floors, lost in thought. This is where he used to talk to his family deity, the goddess Namagiri. He believed all his mathematical insights and ideas were delivered to him by goddess Namagiri in his dreams. Now, this temple was not just a place where he used to get lost in thought, But this was a place where he used to feel free and connect with the divine cosmic universe and bring out the beautiful formulas. Ramanujan's extraordinary mind showed itself early when he was in third grade, when a teacher explained anything divided by itself equals to 1. So he gave an example. So if there are 0 bananas and if you divide it among 0 people, then it doesn't mean each of them will get 1 banana. Now the teacher was speechless. Growing up in poverty, he often borrowed books to satisfy his intellectual curiosity. At the age of 13, he got hand of the advanced book on trigonometry by S.L. Looney. Most school students first meet trigonometry like this. Sin theta is equal to opposite side by hypotenuse. Cos theta is equal to adjacent side by hypotenuse. Ramanujan at 13 jumped far beyond this into the analytic view, where sine, cosine and other functions can be expressed as infinite series. It connects geometry to infinite process, an idea usually taught at university calculus level. Most students learn that pi is about 3.14 or maybe 22/7. Ramanujan, he could reel off its digits without a single node in front of him. To him, pi wasn't just a number, it was a living, breathing pattern. Where most formulas, Ramanujan saw music, an endless symphony of numbers. However, his world truly ignited at age 60 when he got hold of the library copy of the synopsis of elementary results of pure and applied mathematics. Now, this book was a collection of around 5,000 theorems without proof. Now, this became his treasure book, and he was obsessed to find or unlock the treasure. He became so obsessed with mathematics that he failed class 12th exam not once but twice. He was so obsessed that he refused to study any other subject other than mathematics. Now in India, to get a job or career, it is mandatory to clear the class 12 board exam. So he was considered as a failure for some time, and he in fact ran away from his house. His mother, on the other hand, thinking that he has to be reminded about his duties, married him off at the age of 22 to a young girl, Janaki, who was 11 years younger to him. In India, at those times, initially, the girls used to stay with their parents' family. So after 3 years, she joined Ramanujan in Madras in 1912. Imagine the situation of Ramanujan. He was writing theorems in a book which no one had ever seen. He had no formal training, no professor to guide him, just a book for inspiration. And on top of it, he had the responsibility of a family. This was Ramanujan's reality. So to support his family, he kept looking for a job, and finally he got the job as a clerk in Madras port. In Madras, he got some help. Diwan Bahadur Ramchandra Rao rescued him from starvation and provided him stipend. Then there was Ramaswamy Iyer, founder of Indian Mathematical Society, and then Sir Francis Spring, who was the owner of the Madras Port Trust, who helped him. Now, these people saw something in Ramanujan where everyone saw madness or just his path. Now, Ramanujan himself knew, as well as these people, that he was meant for a larger stage. What would have happened if Ramanujan had given up? What if he would have actually believed when others used to call him as a madman or someone who couldn't even clear the board exam? We would never know. It was Seshu Iyer from Presidency College who suggested to write letters to famous mathematicians. So Ramanujan composed letter along with his profound discoveries and sent it to mathematicians across the world. In 1913, a letter arrived from a 25-year-old clerk in Madras to J.H. Hardy. Now, Hardy has never seen such a bizarre, unseen theorems in his life. Initially, he thought it was a fraud, but something kept tugging at him. Later, he discussed with Littlewood and found out that the letter had more than what is to be seen. The dream was about to come true. The boy from the temple town was about to be heard. So that's the story of Ramanujan's early life, a story of inscrutable intellect and simple heart. While I was researching on life of Ramanujan, I quickly realized that it would not be possible to do justice to this legendary mathematician. Even though he is brilliant, but it's not easy to comprehend. There are a lot of work about his mathematical contribution, but not much about the man himself. So this video exclusively focuses on the early life of Ramanujan. Now in part 2, I will be delving further on Ramanujan's life in Cambridge, the challenges which he faced, the mathematical contribution, and of course the legacy he left behind. Now I got a lot of material from this book by Robert Carnegie, Ramanujan, the man who knew infinity. He has beautifully captured the work of Ramanujan in this book. In fact, this book was later made into a movie. So if you're interested, I'll attach the link to the book as well as other sources in the description given below. I'll see you in the next video. Till then, take care.